Hello again, and the topic of today's podcast is it the don't ask, don't tell again in the service industry? Well, terrible times bring all the bad policies back. But first, let me tell you a real story, and it still hurts because it's a very recent development. Not long ago, a long term client of ours has come up with a request to lower the rates again. And this on the background of rising energy costs, rising leases. Well, translators definitely are not agreeing to get even less money because they need to make ends meet, and so on and so forth. Well, I get their point, because they've got their own budget, probably very limited, or maybe it was cut, and they just need to find the compromise that works for them. Anyway, that was the setting. To be honest, our margins were already very thin and very moderate there. I mean, we were surviving, but nothing especially luxurious. So we were able to propose, I would say, more like tiny kind of symbolic margins to them on some languages, but were absolutely unable to do it for some others. And we've definitely got back to the client and told me there is no way of both keeping the human-only supply chain and keep the same quality without any compromises or shortcuts. Simply impossible. We're very sorry, we cannot do that. We have behaved in the most transparent manner and outlined the matter clearly. Either we drop the quality standards and use cheaper translators and some other shortcuts, or we add AI to the picture. Given that it's an IT area and we worked on these projects for quite a while, meaning we have pretty good translation memories, decent glossaries for all languages, we could use our retrieval augmented generation based PRISM process that also includes plenty of checks, including human ones and not just editing but also quality checks. And we would finally offer them a very good compromise. That is, we can produce the same human-like quality at a lower price point. So we were very clean and clear telling them that. And the client got back to us and said, no, thank you. Our end client wants human-only services that are perfect, no quality compromises at this level, and that's it. Which means that we'll accept your symbolic price reductions for some languages, but they're going to take away the others. Which was painful, but that's not what I'm talking about. What I know for sure is that whoever is working on these projects right now on these same languages taken away from us, they will have to use one or more of the shortcuts. Either they use cheaper, less qualified resources, or they cut out review, or they let AI do part of the job. Or all the above. Taken together, that provides a better margin. There is no other way you could live with an even smaller markup because we've been working on these projects for quite a while and quality requirements are very high, turnaround times are crazy, and altogether this markup hardly covers everything we have to do in the background. That is, manage resources, including in case they're unavailable on a short notice, communication, technology, all the checks, software, and so on and so forth. no other way to do it without compromises, period. In other words, it's a typical don't ask, don't tell situation. That is, the client assumes that everything is done perfectly, purely by humans, and the supplier, whoever is working on this, is simply withholding certain facts that either it's not perfect or it's not fully human labor. But that's it. There is no way around it. Which brings to the forefront of my mind a very insidious and troublesome thought. What did we do wrong? Maybe we should have simply done the most pragmatic thing. Come to think of it, we implement this PRISM process that produces the same human-like quality, check. The client gets their discount, that's what they asked for, and we deliver on time, we deliver this good quality, and everything is fine, everybody is happy, and we keep the business and continue getting our modest but still livable margin. And that's the big problem, because it's not just this particular situation. I'm really wondering, what should I do next when a similar situation arises with another client? I have a very strong temptation to say yes next time, without going into details. How are we going to achieve those miraculous results? Ultimately, clients are not asking us about it. What they're asking for is a price reduction, and everything else they just expect to go as usual. Also, on a global scale, is it a complete loss of trust? Has the don't ask, don't tell policy become the new norm across the whole service industry? Is it the right thing to do just to say yes and cut the corners behind the scenes so that nobody knows, and actually it will not even affect quality in multiple scenarios? I'll make it personal. What would you do? What would you do in my shoes? And not just in this case, but in similar future cases. And before I say goodbye, here is the icing on the cake. It's almost a parable-like kind of continuation of the story. We've heard from reliable, independent sources that the end client is thinking of implementing MT or AI translation on their end starting next year, and stop outsourcing those localization services to intermediaries whatsoever. Okay, they had a chance to suggest it first. This chance was missed. Have a very good day, everyone.